Hi, this is Donna, the Transdimensional Twin Flame and the Afterlife Artist. I am going to go over a brief list of some factors that could be limiting your perception of after-death communication. This is a list of things that I have learned during my over 5 years of experiencing after-death communication myself, and after having started studying mediumship since 2019, 14 months before my own twin flame transitioned across the veil. Because I was already educated on mediumship and after-death communication at this time, I knew that he was immediately communicating with me. So here are some of the factors that some people I have noticed are going through when they think that they're not receiving after-death communication. It doesn't mean that they're not receiving it, but they may not be perceiving it. Number 1, you dismiss the after-death communication that you do get as coincidence or wishful thinking. Don't do this if possible. I know you want to be logical and you don't want to be led down the garden path. I was the same way. I wanted to be accurate with my assessment that I was receiving communication. So I would, have some doubt, even though I knew he was around and he was doing all kinds of things. I still wanted a good amount of reassurance and proof that it was happening. But what he actually told me from Spirit was that it was better to go ahead and believe that everything I thought was him was actually him than to potentially dismiss things that were him when that could stunt my growth. If you start dismissing their efforts, then it's harder for them to get through to you and they may eventually stop trying. So probably I would say it's best not to dismiss what you're getting. At least write it down and consider that it could be communication. And over time, you can go back and see if you think it was. Some of this takes time because you need to learn how you perceive and how your person in spirit likes to present themselves. So it takes time and practice. Number 2, you have limiting beliefs adopted from society and other people that tell you after-death communication is not possible. You may have, never been brought up with the belief that this is possible. I was not brought up with that belief either, and I didn't know if there was anything after this physical life, but it has been scientifically proven and experienced from so many thousands and thousands of people, maybe millions, that this is real. So I don't have that doubt anymore, and I don't have any limiting beliefs about this anymore. So if you really want this to happen, try to tone down the noise from the outside world that's telling you it's not possible. Ignore those people. People who are still skeptical about this or just ignorant about it. There's no reason to be skeptical when it's been proven already. It's like, I don't know, pick anything in the world that's been proven and then pick a skeptic, like the earth is flat or something like that. That's a ridiculous thing to believe because it's clearly not flat. They have no reason to believe that, but they believe it anyway. You can't help people change their beliefs. That's their choice. Beliefs are choices. So if you're not conscious of what your beliefs are and where they came from, you need to become conscious of that, because a lot of your beliefs that you think are yours actually came handed down to you from your parents and other people, including society in general and your friends. And you're going to have to be stronger than that and figure out what your real beliefs are. Number 3, you have unresolved fear around doing this. This is a big one because it could be subconscious fear. Maybe you really want your person to communicate with you, but there's a certain part of you that's a little bit nervous about it. That matters. If you're not fully open to this, they don't want to scare you and they don't want to startle us. So, and fear is also a lower vibration and it closes you off. Fear is a contraction. So if you want really good communication with the afterlife, then you're going to have to let go of your fear. So whatever you can do in the form of shadow work around what you're afraid of and examine your beliefs around that, that will help you. Number 4, You have self-esteem and self-doubt issues regarding your ability to communicate via after-death communication. This is a big one too, because if you never thought you could do this, you see other people doing it and they're doing it really well, and you think, well, I'm never going to do that. Don't do that to yourself. That's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You co-create this reality with your guides in spirit. So whatever you believe is what you're going to get. Whatever you believe, you receive. So don't have limiting beliefs about yourself. We can all do this, but we all do it differently. So don't base what you want on anybody else's journey and what they have. You're going to have something different. It could be similar, but it's going to be unique to you. So don't use other people as the basis for what you have to have. Like, if so-and-so has a certain experience, you're not going to be happy until you have it. That's a recipe for disappointment, and it's very limiting. Be open to all the different creative ways that this communication can happen, because it could literally be anything. Synchronicities can show up literally everywhere. So number 5 is you have unresolved grief. Now, grief will not completely stop you from having this kind of communication, but it will hamper it. Your grief makes you in a lower vibration. You do have to deal with your grief and heal from it. And I'm not saying that you can't have after-death communication if you have grief, because I did. I had it immediately, but I was also trained in after-death communication, and I'm already a medium. I'm also a twin flame, so I knew that my twin was going to always be attached to me. You could call it quantum entanglement, but I could feel his energy immediately. He actually healed me of several chronic issues, including fibromyalgia and a long-term shoulder injury within a few days of his passing. I could feel that healing energy, and it took away my issues. So I didn't have any time where I wasn't sure he was around, and grief didn't stop this communication because of our connection as twin flames. But most people don't have that connection, and most people don't have training in mediumship for 14 months before their partner passes like I did. So grief will make it harder. Grief is one of the lowest vibrations, and your person in spirit is now at a very high vibration. So they're working to lower their vibration a little bit to get through to you, but you need to work to raise your vibration to get through to them. It's a collaborative effort. This takes effort on both people's parts. If you're being passive about this and expecting your person in spirit to do all the work, then you're not really participating in a relationship. That's not a relationship. Just the same way, if they were embodied with you here, you probably wouldn't just wait for them to carry the relationship solely on their own. You wouldn't wait for them to do all the talking and do all the everything else that you do. You would participate. It's no different here. So when people just sit around and wait for this communication to occur, it always baffles me a little bit, because I'm thinking, that's not a good relationship. And you're still in a relationship if you are doing this. If you don't understand that, that is something that you should understand from the get-go. This is still a person. This person is not some disembodied spirit. They are the person that you knew. They have a body on the other side. It's just a higher vibrational body, and it's made of light. I'm not even saying it looks like light. When I say it's made of light, really everything is made of light, but this is high vibrational light. Everything is made of light, including us. And we emit light, but we don't usually see that. I do see plasma energy all the time, even with my eyes open, so I do know that the energy is everywhere. But the mistake that some people make when they think about the other side is they'll say, well, we're all made of light, we just go back into source. We don't exist as a body, or we don't exist as separate people. That is not true at all. We can look like a ball of light if we choose to. We could also look like a butterfly, or we could look like ourselves at any point in our lives, and that's what most people choose. So you do still have a body there. You are made of light, and you're a very high vibration. That's why people usually on Earth can't see their people in spirit. Some of us can see that, but most of the time, if you don't have that kind of clairvoyance, you don't see them. But that doesn't mean they're not there. They are still there the same way. It's different, but it's still them. So if you don't understand that you're still in a relationship with a give and take, then you're not really participating. This is participatory. And number 6 actually goes along with this. You have unresolved issues in your relationship with your person in spirit that you wish to contact. It's still a relationship, like I said. If you have any unresolved issues between you, you may be blocking the communication with your emotions about those issues. So I would suggest doing some work, some shadow work around resolving these issues, because you can still resolve your issues with your person in spirit through after death communication. My partner and I have an ongoing relationship where we talk about our issues, and we don't really have that many. Our issues are now interdimensional. Like, I'll complain about not getting enough attention, or how hard this is, or whatever it is. It's just like any other relationship. It's much better in a lot of ways because we don't have any of the lower vibrational issues anymore. The lowest vibrational issue we have is whatever is going on with me, because and he's sometimes concerned with what's going on with me, but he doesn't have his same issues that he had when he was physical. So all those issues are gone, but we still work together on resolving the ones that come up, just like any couple would. So if you have any unresolved issues like resentment or anger towards your person in spirit, you still have to resolve those issues, and it'll help your communication. And then, of course, your communication can help your issues. It's reciprocal. Number 7, you are simply unaware of all the different ways that spirit can communicate, so you're not seeing it when it happens. This is a big one because I took mediumship classes to learn what I learned. And I was nudged to do this. I didn't know why, but my guides nudged me to start taking mediumship classes very seriously in 2019. And my partner passed in 2021. So I knew all the different ways that this could occur because I had heard so many anecdotes from my teacher and other people about how the communication can occur. There's plenty of ways that you can learn this by listening to other people's examples. So my YouTube channel is the Transdimensional Twin Flame. I also have a Facebook public blog by the same name, so you can look there if you want. But there's plenty of other sources that talk about all the different ways that communication can come, because it can literally be anything, and it's going to be specific to you. So you might notice something that nobody else notices. I get communication in ways that are very direct towards me, but the people I'm with won't notice anything. I'll even hear songs out in public that are clearly from him, because maybe it's a song I've never heard before and I just heard it like the day before because he sent it to me. And then I'm out in public and I hear it, and the timing is perfect, so I know it's from him. And I can also feel the energy of the song at the same time with my clairsentience. So I'm using all my psychic senses to discern that this is from him, but the person I'm with won't even hear the song. And it's playing right over the sound system in the store. So why am I the one that hears it and they don't? Because the message was for me and not for them. So that's how it's going to be for you as well. Number 8, you have the mistaken belief that your wish to communicate keeps your loved ones stuck when they would rather move on. But this is not true. They have free will and they want to communicate with you in most cases. And I really dislike when people say, well, you shouldn't try to hold them here with your grief and your love and thinking about them and talking about them. They want to move on. They don't want to stay here with you. That is ignorant. They're not here the same way that you're thinking. You're not holding them down. My partner has fully transitioned and decided to stay communicating with me. They decide this because they have free will, because they're people just like us. So let go of that misguided belief, because it causes guilt and some kind of shame, and that is not relevant. You don't need to feel those ways. Number 9, you believe after-death communication is real, but you just aren't ready quite yet. Or you might believe that you can't do it because you see other people doing it and you're thinking, well, that sounds great, but it's not ever going to happen to me. Well, whatever you believe is what you receive in this world, because you're co-creating your reality. What you say to yourself is the most important thing in your reality. What you believe and say about yourself and to yourself about your reality is what you're going to get. You could call it manifesting, but really it's just you creating what you want. The universe doesn't know that you don't want it. You kept on saying it. You're like, I can't do this. And the universe is like, okay, I guess you can't. You're like, well, I'm not good at this. And the universe is like, I guess not. You're not good at this. It's a mirror of you. It does whatever you want. You may think, well, I don't want to be not getting communication. Yeah, but you just said you can't. Even if you say it in your head, your subconscious doesn't know the difference between, what you do and don't want. It's whatever you keep repeating to yourself. So don't do that. Try to do shadow work around your limiting beliefs and your perceptions of yourself and everything to do with this. You should always be doing shadow work. And then you can find where the holes are in your logic. And then the last thing is I channeled this message encoded with the frequencies of the higher dimensions so it can help you to actually achieve this by raising your vibration. And I'll just read the message. There is no veil. It is not a thing. It is our lower physical vibration and false belief in separation that create the perceived barrier between our dimensions. And that's the truth. The veil doesn't thin because somebody decided to thin it. It gets thinner when you focus on it. That's why at certain times of the year, let's just say Halloween, people are thinking about that, like Day of the Dead, Halloween, All Saints Day. People are thinking about their loved ones on the other side, and therefore everybody says, oh, the veil is thin at that time. The veil is not thin at that time. We thin the veil at that time. It's something that we're doing. If everyone could concentrate on this at any given moment, it would always be thin. And it's getting thinner because more people are focused on it. Do you see how that works? So the veil is just your perception and the difference in the vibration between you and the other side. The solution to that, raise your vibration as high as you can, and your loved one in spirit will lower their vibration so that you guys can overlap and start communicating. I hope you found that helpful. If you would like more, check out my other videos on my YouTube, the Transdimensional Twin Flame, or you can find me on Facebook under the same name.